Hello and welcome to UniVerse Touch. We have a little bit of a different setting today. I'm so glad to have you here. Here, week after week, I'm coming live to shape a narrative together with all of you, which is the narrative of the universe. And this narrative, here, you can be both spiritual and wealthy, care for the world, and create an extraordinary life for yourself. So, are you ready for that? Today, we will go into the second stage of really actually diving deeper in what we are bringing into the world. So you really can get a full picture of what are we even talking about when we speak about the club that connects spirituality with business. It is the most common question that I get. How do you do that? And I always love to say it's not about how we do it. It's actually about the who is doing it and how can we bring them together so that it expands even further. So today, I'd like to guide you into the ethos of the universe of Aelia Kos. In the last session, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. We talked about the birthing of this so unconventional, so fresh, so different initiative, and how it happened step by step over several months, several sets of 9 months that brought us into the creation of the club. And today, I will talk to you about what we stand for and why have we chosen these to be our values from everything else we could have chosen. So, in the universe of Aelia Kos, may that be our in-person experiences, our online portals, working one-on-one with me, or the introductions and the people that you get to meet when you get involved in our universe. There is 4 pillars, 4 values that guide our way. And these are connection to self, connection to others, connection to nature, and getting in touch with the sacred. As you can see, all of them are beyond the traditional business values. And there's a very particular reason for that. Over the last 5+ years of my professional life, I have been supporting conscious businesses to find their own models, to create their pool of clients, to really become something very unique in the world, to dissolve competition and really bring usually the very pristine energies into the business world. And what I realized is that if we are to create a new world, and if this world is going to include business, business itself needs to start operating in a different way. So the practices that we have right now, I have seen them time and again, not really supporting so much the business of the future. So let's talk about business conferences, for example. The very traditional way of getting to know people, getting new contacts, and really getting in front of new clients or investors. If you really observe what's happening in most of the business conferences out there, is that we measure the results or the impact of the conference by the number of people who were there. Yet almost nobody goes beyond that and say how many of these people are still doing business 6 months later, 1 year later, 5 years later. For us, this is the real impact. It's not about having tons of people sharing tons of business cards for maybe with one go down the line of a couple of meetings and ending up doing nothing, just feeling that I have done so much potential business because I've talked to so many people. I don't underestimate the social aspect of the conferences. It's beautiful to be around professionals with the same mission, 100%. And yet, in a world that has so much information, so many offerings, so many things to do, what I receive time and again is that most people need more personalization, more results, with less overwhelm and less effort. You wouldn't describe a business conference of thousands of people as not overwhelming and not effortless. So we decided about 2.5 years ago to completely flip this model. Because what I was observing again and again and again was a particular pattern. We got to see people who are startup founders and investors, and it was so clear that that's the perfect match. Like, I'm a connector by quality. I'm a 4/6 in human design. So I can almost like read the blueprint of the person and know the stage where they are and know exactly who they will be, like the perfect match for them, for their next step. Not even for what they're doing, but what they are intending to do. So we will bring them together, or I'm going to be observing other people getting into collaborations or themselves trying collaborations on their own. And there was a pattern that was happening again and again and again. They will love each other. They will feel it's incredible what can happen here. So they will enter the process of the deal making. And it will take sometimes weeks, sometimes months until they actually get into a stage for the investor to feel confident to invest, or for the collaborators to get into a good sense. And the moment they get there, something will start going off, and it will not click right at the next last step. And I was observing that happening again and again and again. Hours of meetings lost. Time and again, people, like, hopes, disappointment, relationships break. And I'm like, what is happening here? There is a pattern, and it is behavioral because it goes across industries, across cultures, across countries, across interests. It was repeating again and again and again. So I started diving deeper into it. I'm like, let's get to the bottom of this thing, because that's not cool. And I realized that the pattern was actually very similar to the patterns I was seeing in dating. That you start dating, and then you go down a lot of dates. In the beginning, it feels amazing, and you treat each other like a treasure and a gift. And down the line, you start saying that, yeah, they're also human. And down the line, you realize that they're not perfect, obviously. And at some point, there is a point of decision. Do I continue building with this person, or do I break the agreement and start searching for the next perfect match? So it was exactly the same happening with business. And what I realized is that what we were missing is actually to build the trust. So the 4 values we are creating and establishing inside the UniVerse, which are embedded in all of our practices, they are meant to create this trust. Let me break this down for you. The first value, connection to self. There is no way anybody else can feel that they can trust you unless you're deeply connected with yourself, you know who you are, and you know what you want. It is the foundation. We cannot even start talking about legacy and impact unless you have started exploring and discovering who you are. So, number 1, connection to self. And yet, such a deep, deep process. And a process that actually never ends. But hopefully, the faster it starts, the best runway you have to really explore and make it a beautiful journey. So we suggest the first thing to be an activation. Come, let's clean all the layers from the world that are not about you. Take them out. Reveal who you truly are and keep revealing it in recurrent meetings and recurrent experiences. So you keep getting deeper and deeper into your core, more aligned with who you are. And so we can also see you there. So this is the fundamental, the first calling we always do when somebody gets interested in joining our club. Come as you are, open up to become the best version of yourself, reveal yourself, and then everything else will come out of that. And we have seen it happening time and again. Just today, I was speaking with one of our last participants in the experience we hosted in May in Greece, and I told him that you can never believe what happened. After we closed the phone, after the integration call, the entire universe started turning around, and I was receiving all the parts and pieces for exactly what you have been envisioning. I really feel I was manifesting for you. It's beautiful what happens after. And that was because he was brave enough, first of all, to join, and second, to open up himself and show himself. And not close behind his huge success in business. And not pretend that he has everything together, because nobody does. And talk about his fears and talk about his life. And bringing himself into the space. And that created the clarity in the signal that we are able, and I am able, to embody and transmute and create the tangible business steps that are happening right now with this particular and for this particular human being. So connection to self. I could talk for hours about that. It is the foundation. If you do want to explore more about that, reach out to me. Let me know where you are in the journey, and we will find the best step for you to continue. If you're in the very beginnings, you might need something softer, something you can do on your own time and really start uncovering yourself. Like, for example, the unique program we have. If you're more advanced, you might actually want to go into hand to hand and say, let's dive straight into that with private mentorship. There's anything in between. So feel free to reach out if you are working on this pillar. The second pillar, connection to others. This is huge. And this is something we are unfortunately missing a lot, both in the business world and in the spiritual world. That was one of my deepest breakthroughs. Even in the spiritual world that is doing so much inner work, so they're working so much in the first pillar of connecting to themselves, they're missing the connection to others, because this is a different initiation. The spiritual initiation is the portal, the first portal, an extremely important one. And yet, if you only do the spiritual initiation, you start evolving all your life around yourself. And a type of blockage, of fear about truly connecting to others starts evolving. And I have seen that time and again. So connection to others is actually moving beyond, expanding beyond who you are, to connect with other human beings, to enter their world and allow their world to permeate you. I like to call it a lot the social initiation, which I feel it's the step further from the spiritual initiation. So first, you connect with yourself and the universe. Second, you start connecting with the humans around you. You connect your compassion. You open your heart to people, which is more difficult than the universe because people are not perfect. And you are not either. So it's calling you to fall in love with your humanness. First, you fall in love with your divinity. You're superhuman. And that's wonderful. Yes, it's somewhat easy because it's perfect. It's the perfect nature inside of you. Then you're being called to the second layer, which is to connect with others. Not perfect, your human side, the one's making mistakes, the one that has difficulties, the one that is human. So second stage, connection to others. Third pillar for the universe and third stage, connection to nature. Once you have connected your divine self and with others, then you're being called to connect to the planet. There are many stories and theories about the planet, where we're coming from, where we're going. There's many people who are exploring planets beyond the Earth. But let's face it, this planet is beautiful. The way we're treating it, it's not so beautiful. And that has nothing to do with the planet. The problem is not the planet. Yes, what's the problem? So, time to connect with nature, with the planet. That when you have realized that you're part of it, about looking at it from the external lens, you realize actually that you're part of the planet. And when you have connected with yourself and with others, it's just natural to feel connected with the planet itself also. So then you do want to be more in nature. You feel that you're part of it. If you destroy it, it really feels that you're destroying yourself. There is an intrinsic nature in your moves. The planet starts informing you, as your body can inform you, this is good and this is bad. So it becomes a natural instinct that it's being reawakened inside of you. It's not an external action. You're remembering that you're part of the planet, and you're opening your channels to be able to sense that. Not know that only, but feel it in your body, sense it, be it. So that's the third stage, and our third pillar, connection to nature. And the last one, that actually kind of goes back into a closed loop, is getting in touch with the sacred. And this is different and similar to the connection to self. It is very different because that's really connecting you with the entire God, universe, how you want to call it. It connects you to the whole, to the one. It's blending you with everything. You're getting in touch with sacred, and you're making everything sacred. You're seeing everything as sacred. You're creating rituals so that everything is sacred. It can be any mundane action. It can be the way you drink water. It can be the way you talk to your partner. It can be the way you wake up, the way you do business. Nothing is outside of that. And as you realize, to be able to get into such a refinement of both life and business, you do need to have all the other steps established. Knowing yourself, what I'm here for, what is important to me, who am I? Connection to others. How do I want to treat people? How am I in a group? How can I be part of society in the best possible way? Connection to nature. How can I be part of an ecosystem? How can I find my place in an ecosystem, human and natural? And then, how can every move, every thought, every action, every decision make it literally and metaphorically a prayer? So once you get there, the human experience starts transforming real fast, because you need less enhancement and more depth. You bring more essence and less shiny objects. You know who you are, you know where you are, you know why you're here. You're bringing your field in service to the whole. And that is the most incredible stage somebody can get while alive. And it is right there that most of the people who join us are ready and willing to become members of our club. It is this stage I'm like, I am ready to be surrounded by this pristine group and nature. I'm ready and I feel worthy to be around people who are unlocking both spirituality and wealth in their life. And I'm ready to bring all of these together to create a better world. It requires a particular level of awareness, and you know when you're there, because nothing else matters. Everything else has started feeling a little bit less important. Networking? For what? Your business are running already. Deep connection? Anytime. Business conferences? For what? You already know what's happening as the most innovative industry. Many times you're even shaping it yourself. Talking about spiritual wisdoms and breakthroughs? Yeah, then you can start unlocking even faster from one word from the other person. Meeting for business meetings. Well, if it's needed, of course, but most of the times your teams are taking care of that by now. But meeting in wonderful places that feel like vacation at the same time, you progress as a human being and in your business, no brainer. So, what we are creating, of course, is not for everybody. Nothing is for everybody. For the right people, it feels like a blessing. They can hardly believe that these places on the planet exist, that these people with these incredible gifts, experience, and hearts are here now and willing to connect. They get impressed by the acceleration of the manifestations that happen after for what they have just wished they could happen, both in life and business. We've got both aspects. We have people falling in love and making babies. We have people creating ventures and finding investors. It's an entire spectrum. We don't separate. Both are so important. We want you to have a deep, enriching, juicy, creative, loving life and create wealth and businesses and build and make incredible things in the world. Because it's possible. We're living in a time that's possible. It's the first time from the ones we know that this is possible. So why minimize it? Why having to choose if we can have the entire spectrum? They will only happen when we have these conversations that cover the entire spectrum. If we keep separating, this is business and this is life and this is spirituality, how are we going to see the patterns across? How are we going to see how others have been doing it to progress faster? This is the main gift of humanity. We can stack information. Somebody finds out something, and instead of having to find it all from the beginning, we stack, we put our experience on top of the other, and we build upon information. This is what makes us so special. We don't need to lose information. We don't need to start from scratch. And that's why we have been able to build these incredible civilizations over and over again. Imagine when this happens in the entire spectrum, in who you are deep inside yourself, how your body becomes optimal, how your mind becomes optimal, how your energetic field becomes optimal, until how business is better, operations is better, markets are better, wealth, investments are better. Can you imagine anything better? Because I cannot. So this is our ethos. And our ethos has these 4 pillars because it is a pathway and at the same time it is the foundation to build anything that will last and you will not want to break down. And that's so important because we see people building empires and then breaking down themselves because they don't want to be there anymore. It feels dry, it feels uninspiring, it feels it's sucking their life out of themselves. It's time to change that. If you're ready to do so, if you feel called from what we're building, join us. We're in a very unique window of time that we're going to be opening pre bookings for our next experience. And this is in a completely new way for the industry as we usually do. You will not know neither where, neither when it is. You will just have to trust your intuition, jump right into it so you can get the private rate, which will be substantially lower than the normal rates, and the surprise as it builds bit by bit towards the experience. So if you're interested about that, please connect with me. I will send you the waiting list and you'll be informed about the next steps. And we are doing that because what we're building is not about the particular place or the particular person. It's the field. We are building a narrative, a completely new narrative for how business can be done. And you're joining for that. You're not joining for the location. You're not joining for the one person who's there or not. That's why we don't sell names. We don't sell the locations. You come because you want to be part of this new narrative of connecting wealth and spirituality. So if that calls you, find me, comment here, or find me on LinkedIn or Instagram as Aelia Kos. Text me that you're interested. I will send you more information. I'm there to support you, and it will be a pleasure to get to know you further. In the next episode, which is going to be next week, same time, same place, here, as always, I will talk to you exactly about this business narrative that we are building. So we talked about the birthing of the venture, the ethos today, and we're going into the business narrative. So what is the actual business narrative we are establishing with the UniVerse of Aelia Kos? It's fresh, it's new. We are doing it, we are establishing it by doing it and by helping our clients do it. And the more of us are able to tap into that through this conversation or through joining us, there's many ways, the more it will become a prominent narrative in the world. And everybody has been craving for that because business has become a little bit dry otherwise. So if you want to feel rejoined, rekindled in your business and embed your spirituality, embed who you are, like just make it a juicy journey that you just want to be on, that's what we're establishing. Join me next week. Let's talk about it. Let's extend after. Let's see where all of this takes us. I have great plans for us. Thank you for being here. It has been a pleasure to open that to all of you. Looking forward for your comments and insights, and I will see you next week.